All right. I want to thank everyone for coming and being a part of this State of the City. Can I get a show of hands for everyone? This is their first time attending this event. So I'm not alone here. I got friends that are the first timers here. So we're not going to do this your typical State of the City address, where you just hear from me for 30 minutes because my congregation doesn't even want to listen to me for 30 minutes. So I just want to say again, thanks for everybody being here, and we're going to go through a little slideshow, kind of give you an idea of where we are as a city, and what our vision and what our future is for the city of Boerne and the surrounding community. And so it's been a learning experience for sure. And so many of you know that I'm newly elected since May, so 5 months, and I've been drinking from a fire hose pretty regularly, with understanding how the city is run. And what I knew all along is that Boerne is a great place to live. Boerne is a great community. Boerne is a great city. It's got amazing school districts. It's got amazing municipalities that take care of our streets, our parks, our recreations, our utilities, our police department and fire services are top notch. And to be able to work hand in hand with all those entities day in and day out has been an eye-opening experience and something that I don't take lightly, and I appreciate all their efforts. So, and for our frontline workers who run our utilities and are out there every day doing the work, if you see them in the streets, just give them a thanks and tell them great job, because I had the privilege of attending the Texas Municipal Leaders Conference 2 weeks ago in Dallas. There was probably close to about 8,000 people there at that conference. Mayors, city officials across the state of Texas. And Boerne is unique in a way because we're the hill country, but we're also not unique at all because every city in Texas is dealing with the same things that we are dealing with water conservation, tremendous growth. The state of Texas is predicted to double the size of the population by 2050. Why? Because Texas is a great place to live and everybody wants to come here. And the word is out about how great Boerne is. And so how moving forward is really important, how we move forward as a community. And so, and we're going to talk about that in our slideshow. But welcome to Boerne. My name is Ritchie, and I'm the mayor of this wonderful little community known as Boerne here in the Hill Country. So it's a wonderful place to live and grow with your family, and just learn more about the Hill Country and be a part of this great place in Texas that is known as Boerne.
The city of Boerne can be described as historic yet modern, relaxed but elevated, all the while remaining welcoming. While nurturing our common goal, Boerne has fostered an environment where independence is encouraged and collaboration is celebrated.
Whatever we're striving to aim at, we want to be an exemplary model of great service, whether it's the library, the police department, the visitor center. I want our staff to be highly sought after because they're the example of what greatness looks like in their professional service.
A harmonious balance of people and nature is at the heart of Boerne's history, our future, and the structure of our city organization. We serve our residents and customers, provide financial stewardship, and aspire to be the best in class and remain an employer of choice. Combining our natural strengths, we call this the Boerne family tree.
One of our charges is with our team Boerne, with our employees, is to use excellence and integrity and collaboration to build something that's just not great inside the organization, but that's great for the community. And if we can focus on that internally, my hope is that'll rub off in all of our efforts in our service delivery with what we provide the community, and that our community will take greater pride in being a part of the Boerne community, being part of the city as a resident.
Our roots keep us grounded and serve as a source of life. With a rich history, our community is stronger for the strategic decisions that will allow us to thrive well into the future. The trunk is a sturdy foundation that provides the support for the rest of the tree to thrive. Our elected officials are in touch with their constituents' needs and provide strong governance for our 22,000 residents. Growing independently yet still connected to its base, the branches expand to form the shape of the tree. From the people who live and work in Boerne to our many visitors, our history is a part of our daily living, and members of Team Boerne strive to respect our past while moving us forward. Boerne's future is bright as a community that operates with a professional, nonpartisan local government manager. We are more efficient, aligned, and more fiscally sound than other forms of municipal government.
So as we plan for the future, Boerne, I just want to let you know as your mayor that we've been diligently looking through the budget, knowing that the forefront of our thought process was how do we benefit this community and be good stewards of your tax dollars for the community of Boerne.
We know that Boerne has a very unique character about it. We call it community charm, unique community charm. There's a lot of community amenities that that our residents are proud of. So how do we continue to build on that?
These distinguishing characteristics are parallels that come together to move the community forward in a unified way.
So that's Boerne kind of in a nutshell. You know, what is Boerne? Who is Boerne? Well, for me, I said this during the election, Boerne has always been more than a city. Boerne is the people. Each one of you are what Boerne. You represent Boerne. You're the face of Boerne. And so our school district, our police departments, our fire departments, and as on the city level, we're only 22,000 people in the city limits. But if you look at that map, you see the little highlighted shaded part, that's the city of Boerne. But on the yellow shaded part of our, that's everyone that has a Boerne zip code, 78006 zip code, and that's 60,000 strong. So moving forward for the community of Boerne, it's always about community. What the city does is going to directly relate, goes on to those 60,000 people that live outside of our city limits. And so it's important that we make sure what we do as a city, we're paying attention to what's going on outside in our community also, is because to me, Boerne is that entire yellow section and not just the purple section. And so it's the people of Boerne, and that's who we are. We're a community that I've always said that loves one another, cares for one another, and looks after for one another. And so that's who I believe we are as a community, and it shows here. It shows with our chamber. We have one of the most active chambers, I think, in the state of Texas because of the influence that Boerne has. And so I think it's just a great place to live, and I'm thankful that each one of you are part of this community and part of who we are as Boerne.
Mayor, I'll also add that while we have the zip codes that are shaded up there, I think the white boundary is the school district boundary. So we have folks that don't even have a Boerne zip code that are part of the Boerne identity through the great school district that we have.
So our mission, if we're going to be a community and we're going to be a city that moves forward in the future, we have to have mission, we have to have vision, we have to have values. And so our mission is that we are building an exemplary hill country community by delivering high quality, customer focused essential services to all who live, work, and play in the city of Boerne. And so moving forward, we're strategic in nature. Everything is not just the immediate future, it's long term. If you look at our water situation across the state of Texas, every place is worried about water conservation. I think we've done a great job so far as a community, but I want to thank the previous people that have sat in this chair and in Ben's chair in the years past that put the city in a situation where we are with our water conservation and available water sources through the four resources that we have. And so continuing moving forward, our mission is to make sure that we're not thinking next year or even 5 years down the road. We're thinking, what does our community, what does our city look like 10, 20 years down the road?
Absolutely. If you've heard me speak before and talking with our staff, you will hear the words deliberate and intentional in everything that we do. It's easy to say we know we need to provide law enforcement services, we know we need to provide public safety, planning and parks. We're going to do that very intentionally. You can see that as a theme throughout this presentation. It starts with our vision and mission.
Absolutely. So what is our vision? The city of Boerne is a model of an engaged and dynamic community centered on these tenets, which are safety and security, like Ben said, making sure moving forward that we not only have a top-notch police department and fire services and medical services to provide for each one of our city residents, but also we service those outside our city limits, and we work with those entities to make sure that they're top-notch, that we have a secure and safe environment for our kids to be raised in, for us to walk down the street in. You know, our financial excellence, I can't speak enough about Sarah and her department on the finance budget that we passed this year. They did an amazing job, thousands and thousands of hours going into the budget to make sure that we are fiscally sound and making sure that we're not operating outside of our means. You know, community charm, I mean, just look across the table. The community charm is each one of you. That's what makes Boerne great. And people walk into this community and they come in to visit. And the takeaway was, I can just tell you when I was in Dallas like 2 weeks ago at a conference, I met many people from across the state, and they said, man, I just visited Boerne. Man, what a great town. The people there are so amazing. And so moving forward, that's one thing that we don't want to lose. We might grow, we might change a little bit, but we don't need to lose who we are as a community and that charm of who we are as Boerne, and that starts directly with each one of us. And then finally, environmental responsibility, making sure that we're moving forward and protecting the environment, also being conservative in our water situations. Also with the River Road project that you see, making sure that we're securing the riverbanks. And so we have a nice community downtown where people can look forward to for the future for their kids and their grandkids, but making sure that everything we do, we're being responsible and environmentally safe in.
If you were to attend a city council meeting every other Tuesday, and you see a staff give a presentation, they start those presentations off by showing the alignment, the connection to the city's mission, vision, or other strategic objectives. Again, getting back to that theme of it, very intentional. Now, what are we intending to do? Right? There's a lot of master plans. There's a lot of citizen engagement that is important for us to mind and understand. And we're going to talk more about that here in a second.
So what are our values, right? Respect, excellence, service, integrity, and collaboration, right? These are the things that Ben just spoke about, right? Every time we have something that comes before council, we make sure these are some of the things that we're intentional about. Having respect, man, for your neighbor. For me, that's scriptural. For me, that is love your neighbor, right? If you want to respect somebody, you need to love your neighbor. So excellence, making sure that everything we do, we do it with excellence, you know. For me, my mantra has always been Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for man. And I think that's how we do excellence. I look at some of these departments. I talk to some of these individuals that work in these departments, and they take pride in their job, whether they're working on the gas lines or whether they're repairing the fire trucks or the police cruisers. They love their job and they take excellence. They take pride in what they do. And so I think that's foremost. And then service, right? Making sure that Boerne is unique in a way because we have our own water, our own gas, our own electric services, and making sure that we provide top-notch services in all those areas for those utilities that service us each and every day. And so making sure that those are top-notch, make sure they have the best equipment to do their jobs, the best police equipment, the best fire trucks, the best street maintaining equipment. If we're going to provide service, we have to be able to do it in a high quality and high way. And then integrity, making sure that we're always doing the right thing. We may not always look at from the outside looking in, but everything we do with making sure that this is what's best for the community and best for the city. Maybe long-term, maybe short-term, and we will always not agree or disagree on everything, but everything we do, we try to do with integrity. And then lastly, collaboration. We've worked the last 5 months. I've worked really hard getting to know the BISD School Board, Kendall County Commissioner's Court, the judge, and other entities in our community, making sure that we're working together for the future of Boerne. You know, if BISD has got something coming or the county has something coming, meeting with Fair Oaks, making sure that we're working together as a community, that big yellow area outside there of Boerne, making sure that we're working with all the entities inside the venue, Texas Heritage Bank, the Chamber of Commerce. You know, we're going to collaborate on every effort moving forward to get as many hands in the pot to understand that this is what's best for our community. Responsibility to everyone, right? So for me, this is one of the things that I ran my campaign on, was making sure that we're listening to every voice. And so if you've emailed me, I guarantee you've got a response back, because I want to make sure that we're engaging inside our community and that we're making sure that we're being responsible in what we do in our services for one another. You know, we pay attention to the surveys. We pay attention to the people that email us. Maintaining our community is one thing that's very important to me. I've been a part of Boerne for 25 years. I've raised my kids here, and my son is now raising my granddaughter here. And so we want to make sure that we maintain who we are as a community.
Absolutely. We do that through a variety of master plans. As the mayor said, we have citizen surveys too, where we understand, we really seek to understand what it is our community wants, what they expect, not only just for police and fire protection to show up when they call upon it, but there is that unique community charm that we talked about earlier. We need to understand what it is exactly we're protecting there and what we're building upon. And so we're going to do that. We kind of highlighted the values. We're going to go over the values a little bit more. I want to share how we're actually applying that with our service delivery each day.
So those we serve, right? Each one of you is someone that we serve. Those in our community, whether it's going to speaking at BISD to the first graders. I had the opportunity to speak at several elementary schools about city government, how it works, because that's the future of Boerne. That's the future of our community, right? And so make sure that we serve, Chief Perez and Manny over here from the fire department, making sure that they're out in the community, making sure that they're visible, that you can see them and approach them, and making sure that they're there for your protection, they're there for your services, and that as a public servant, each one of us are up here for working for you. The council, I can't say enough about our council. It does a great job of taking in everyone's consideration when it comes up to ordinances and changes and plans like that. How does this best serve our community? How does this best serve those affected by what we do, what we don't do at council, what gets passed and what gets changed? They're very intentional and very thoughtful in their decision making, because you are who we serve. So
a key part of that is just respect, right? There's a diversity of voices, a diversity of perspectives that are living within the Boerne, Kendall County community. I came here in June 2020, right when COVID had hit. We had a population of 17,500. We're now 22,000 just 3 years later. So 5,000 population increase, give or take. That's a lot of different perspectives that have come to us from different parts of Texas, different parts of the country. It's important for us to understand and actually listen to understand what services they want and respect those. It's also important for us to, as a city organization, to be an example of respecting each other internally, because we are out there as first responders, as frontline workers to each of you when you have essential services you expect day in and day out.
Leading the way, right? Boerne is leading the way to a better Texas Hill Country, right? What does that mean? High standard for new construction, low impact development, unified development code, our water dashboard. I think Ben will speak to some of these a bit more than I have. He's been running the city for as a city manager for a lot longer than I've been sitting in this chair. And so he can speak to more of this, but I will say that as being a part of this stuff, whether it's unified development code, the water dashboard, the high standard for new development, as our city changes, as the state of Texas changes, we want to make sure that we're being very intentional in how we handle that growth, how we handle that future, and what it looks like for our community.
Yeah. So these are just a few examples of some things that are exceptional programs or services that our city staff is providing. Knowing that we're growing as fast as we are in the state and in the region, it's important for us to, again, protect that community charm. And so we're going about it with very high standards that may show up in the way of our development regulations. It may show up in the way we provide customer service in our Parks and Rec programs. But we are going to do our very best to protect that contextual identity that Boerne has created over its history. I'm really proud of the city staff for being highly involved in regional, state, and national conversations when it comes to their industry. We set the bar, we set an example of what best practices looks like for a small city of 300 employees, a small city of 22,000 population. They're doing some incredible things. And we are part of boards and councils that discuss best practices. We are part of those collaborative discussions with other municipal entities to learn and share. Again, as the mayor just said 2 weeks ago in Dallas, we received an award just that same week. I was at another conference in Austin where we received an international award for some programs we're doing with our mental health initiatives in the police department. So we're leading in the form of excellence, not just in our own city, community, but also statewide. By us being a part of those conversations, we're helping kind of enhance the culture of excellence even across the state.
Service, what we're about, right? We are service-driven, forward-thinking, with a commitment to public safety and reliable services for our residents. Our utilities departments, our mental health, Ben just spoke about our mental health initiative for our police department. We want to make sure that we are able and capable of providing you with the best services possible. That's goal number one, right? When you, as one of our taxpayers, as you as one of our people, one of our brothers and sisters in this community, we want to make sure that the service that you get is top notch, and excellence has got to be at the forefront of that. And so each one of the department heads, everyone that I work with in this community and then the city level, they take that to heart. That is not something that I've seen where they just come in and do their job. They really make sure that they're service minded, they're goal oriented, and making sure that we're providing the best thing that we can do for our community.
In order to do that, Ian, I mentioned earlier, we've got to know what our residents and our customers and our visitors want. We do that by citizen surveys. We do them intentionally every other year, and we do other surveys, softer surveys, smaller, more micro-focused surveys on different services, but we do a large-scale survey every 2 years, because that feeds into our budget process, that feeds into our resource allocation, that feeds into the conversations we have at the department level, and when they create their annual business plans, their strategic plans of what is it they're going to do, what initiatives are going to put in place to bridge the gap on the services. So the most recent survey was January of this year, 23, earlier this year. And we asked about 60 services. We have a lot more than that, but there's 60 high-level services. And we asked how important these services are to you as residents, how satisfied are you, and then that creates a gap. Like some areas are doing really well, there's other areas we need to focus on how do we improve, but then there's actually some strategic conversations we need to have about services that just aren't really important anymore because our community's changed. We're going to need to learn to assess what it is we're going to stop doing. And that's hard to do. I think I met a couple of you earlier today. You know, oh, you're the city manager. You must have something that you have to do every day. And I do. My staff does. We get pulled every which way. And most government, the school district's probably the same. The county government's the same. But we can't do everything well. So we need to focus on what it is that's very important. We do that by understanding what our customers want. If you come in City Hall and sit in a meeting with staff, you'll hear things like voice of the customer. You'll hear things like customer demand, customer pull, because we're trying earnestly to seek out what it is that we need to really do exceptionally well.
Absolutely. Integrity, raising the standard, following through on our commitments, following our master plan and update. You know, city council, boards, everyone that I've worked with, I think I have yet to experience anyone that did not have integrity and not willing to make those hard choices and those hard decisions when it comes down to it. But it's done with integrity. It's done with the making the right choice, the right decision. And so I think it's important that know that that's important for me. That's important for the city manager. It's one of the things that we highlight at the staff meetings that has to be in the forefront of our minds and our thought processes moving forward. You know, how do we share that integrity, be able to be more transparent with our constituents, with our community? I mean, I'm an open book, man. If you have a question about what's going on in the city, you can come and see me in the office, or you can come email me, and we'll be very transparent with what's going forward with you. So make sure that integrity is top notch for us.
Absolutely. Ethical leadership at the very top is extremely important, right? Tone at the top. We hear that with sports teams. We hear that with big corporations. The tone that is set at the very top means something. And we talk about that in the leadership team with my staff. I'm very proud of the governance culture that exists at City Council, the prior City Council that were here before I got here. I could sense the seriousness in which they took their jobs. They make decisions on what's right for the community as a whole, not just special interests or special things that are being pulled. They really do their homework and do a great job trying to understand every aspect and perspective of what's being deliberated and considered. And that's important. And another thing the mayor said is transparency. We're having ongoing conversations about how we can increase the access to communication, being transparent and being able to get information to all stakeholders that are involved. And we got some interesting things on the horizon, some initiatives where we'll be able to enhance what anyone who comes to our website or interacts with the city is able to receive.
Collaboration, working with others. As you can see on the screen, there's many different entities inside our community. We want to make sure that we partner with those as a city, right? And as the county and as the community as a whole, right? We're one family. We're all brothers and sisters that live in the community of Boerne, and we want to make sure that we collaborate with not only the big entities like the school board and the county, but also with the entities inside of Boerne. You know, Hill Country Family Services, the Chamber, Equal Housing Opportunity, you know, Boerne Performing Arts Community. This is your community. This is where your kids are invested. This is where you're invested. And so it's not just the city's responsibility to be involved and collaborate with one another. If you've got an idea or a thought process that you think is great for Boerne, bring it to the city, bring it to the school board. We want to collaborate with every entity and each one of you about what's best for Boerne moving forward. So, I mean, I'm the first one to say that I don't know it all. In fact, I don't know a lot. But I do know that as long as we work together and we collaborate with different entities in this community, we're going to continue to grow in a way that's healthy and formative for the future of Boerne.
Absolutely. I'm a huge proponent of leveraging others, people's resources with yours to achieve problems, solve problems, have a great conversation, constant conversation with Dr. Price, school district, the school board, same thing with the county commissioners. If there's a takeaway that you walk away from this lunch with, and that is that the governing entities of this county interact and work together and collaborate. Despite what people might think or say, we have strong conversations. We bring forward things that we might need to help with, and we assist each other. Commissioner Bergman, I've seen you I think twice this week already, right? We constantly are having this conversation. This is a few examples on the slide. Kim Long, I'm talking to her weekly. She's not listening up here. And we're willing to stand up and help you to the greatest extent we can. I think that's a very unique aspect of Kendall County. I've worked with 2 other cities. We've done this. I don't think other cities have done it as well as we do. In fact, I've been asked to speak on the topic of collaborating in municipal settings and conferences twice in the last 18 months, which is shocking to me because I think they're doing it well, and I think everyone should be doing that. And I was maybe naive and ignorant to that.
And excellence at work, right? Across the city of Boerne, our departments are excelling in their work and achieving results for residents and customer service. And these are just some of the awards that we've received, I believe. We're talking about, that Ben was talking about earlier, right? But excellence in everything that we do, right? I mean, you've heard it said before, and I believe it's true, right? Nothing's worth doing unless it's not worth doing well. But we don't want to do it well, we want to do it excellent. And for the last 5 months, I've watched different departments, I've watched different people inside the city staff and inside the community, frontline workers, utility workers, working late into the night to make sure that your water comes back on or your electric comes back on. City and parks going above and beyond out at the Boerne City Park and the different places doing their job with excellence and with pride. And you see that in the engagement studies that we look at our departments. You know, we ran an employee survey and engagement of city employees is up. And so that's very important because that means they're taking pride in the work that they do and they're proud of who they are and what they do and to be employed by the city of Boerne. And so excellence is at the forefront of everything we do, I think, is a must, and it shines brightly in our community, and Ben will speak more on that.
Yeah, we take that seriously. Now, are we perfect? No. No one is, right? I mean, we can run ourselves ragged trying to be perfect, but we are striving daily to identify where we can be better. And we have those conversations all the time. In fact, just the last 6, 7 months at the leadership level, the management team level, we've had conversations about a concept called the theory of marginal gains. If you've read the book Atomic Habits, it talks about that, where it's easy to identify a problem and think, okay, we need to do something monumental to make a big change to become better. But that's hard to tackle something at a larger level. But if we can identify areas where we can improve by 1% here, 1% there, and 1% over here, the next thing you know, we make gradual, larger strides in ways we didn't know we were capable of. And so that's been a challenge with our staff. And in fact, just this day in another economic development board meeting, I've had a couple folks just mention subtle improvements they've seen in different departments, and it's because we've been focusing on being 1% better. The other piece of that is going back to collaboration. As a city team, we focus on how we can make each other better. I don't Chief Perez, I don't expect him to handle police department stuff. I actually expect him to lean in and leverage for the work of the city as a whole and provide perspective and insight that maybe another department's working on. We have these cross-departmental work teams, SWAT teams, hot teams, whatever you want to call them, all aimed at solving problems and making us better as a city.
And preparing for the future. So what does that look like for us? As Texas continues to grow, as Boerne is going to continue to grow, at what pace and at what level, we do have some say-so at that, right? We can continue and be intentional in how we grow in the future and what Boerne looks like, right? But we need to make sure that we're forward-thinking. I said it earlier that we're not just thinking about next year or 2 years down the road. We're thinking of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road. And so preparing the way for us is about being very strategic in where we use our funds, right? Whether it's improving roadways, extending roadways, making our municipalities department stronger and better, but preparing the future and making the way better for Boerne is forefront in what we think about, what we talk about. And so every decision that we make as a council, as the city manager's office, as the staff's office, as the mayor, I don't get to vote on anything, but I get to say something about it, you know? And so making sure that we have input and make sure that we're preparing for the future so my grandkids and your great-grandkids can continue to experience the Boerne that we all know and love.
You can listen to the school district at their demographic forums, you know, listen to the state, or the Texas State Water Board, or the governor's office. Growth is coming exponentially. It's in this triangle between Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio. We can do our very best to stop development and to drop a wall, but we know that doesn't work. And so we're working at preparing for the future, working with development with high quality versus quantity.
I think this is a great slide, right? I just experienced this. On my way here, I stopped and got a water and a Gatorade, and I spent more money at the gas station than what it cost for the entire city of Boerne for me to live here today, right? And when it says the cost of living in the city of Boerne, I mean, that's the roadways that you drive on. That's the police force that keeps us safe. The fire department to make sure that our houses don't burn down. The city and parks where we get to go out and experience the soccer games and the football games, the BISD community, the school board community where our children go and perform it at the theaters. I mean, all of that stuff is done at a cost of $5.50 to each resident per day. And that just blows my mind that we can do all those services and do them with high excellence and do them well in the community for that cost. So that's an impressive slide for me.
We always see our tax bill at the end of the year and think, man, look at all that money I have to pay, right? But then you start breaking it down at the city taxes. These are the rate for general fund expenses of public safety, parks, libraries, roads, trails, sidewalks, things of that nature. When you think about what we're spending in a day, $5.50 is not a big deal, right? I got 4 kids on an AT&T cell phone plan, and I don't really want to tell you how much I pay for that. Staff, I applaud my staff for trying to provide a really high-level, efficient, high-level service.
Boerne projects progress, right? This is what the future of Boerne looks like. These are the things that we have in the pipeline for our community. What the growth looks like, what we're trying to do to manage our traffic situations, our water situations. And so if you take a look at everything on this screen, there's a lot. And I think on the next screen we'll talk about how much we've increased our budget.
So these are the bond projects that a year ago we brought to the voters and had 60% approval. Again, projects that were brought forward because they were part of a master plan, projects that were brought forward because we had information from citizen surveys and actually had customer pool tell us they wanted these projects in the mix.
Park and Adler Road updates, right? Adler Road design and bidding, right? That's going to be starting next year, right? Northside Community Park, planning under review, construction starts next year, right? And if you're not familiar with that area, that's all those big fields on the backside of Adler. So we're going to make Adler a much better roadway in the future, but also we're going to, I think there's going to be a splash pad out there, pickleball courts, athletic fields, right? And all access playground for everyone, even with disabilities, because that's where we live and play, right, as a community in our parks and recs areas. And so making sure that we're being good stewards of the green space we have in our community and making sure it's accessible to everyone in our community. And so I'm excited about those 2 projects that were passed with the bond.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal park. This will be something for everybody. A big signature park moment. We'll have a great community groundbreaking hopefully next summer. And so again, every aspect, every amenity in that park is part of our Parks Master Plan that had a lot of community input. And the reason why I keep coming back to this is to show how we're listening to what our community expects. The Adler Road expansion, that is a recommendation that came out of Kendall County, Fair Oaks, City of Boerne Transportation Committee that outlined and identified all kinds of projects. We took one of those and we went to the voters. That'll be a nice addition to help out our mobility system.
And other street improvements throughout our situation in Boerne. These are other things that are just in the pipeline that we're going to continue to make our city more walkable, more traffic, less congestion, right? Just better situations and better streets for our community to walk around and live in. And so I'm excited that we are moving forward, moving more forward with our roads and our access to the community.
I'll applaud Director Carroll with Streets and Engineering. He and his team have gone and assessed the quality of pavement and roadway throughout the whole city. These are the roads that are at the, I think, bottom of the list. Is that correct, Jeff? So we're going to get those done right away, get those improved, and then we're going to continue to make larger investments in our roadway system. We'll show you that here in a minute. Oh, actually, right now.
Right now, yeah. This is the slide we've been talking about, right? If you look over the last 5 years where our budget has been for traffic and street funding, right? We know that traffic congestion and city sidewalks and city streets are a big issue with our community, and so we've been listening to that over the last several years. And so if you look at the budget, how much it's increased, right, that has been one of our priorities, to make Boerne not only just more walkable, but also a better place to drive and get around and communicate from north, east, south, and west. So
absolutely. We're going to approve the mobility, city mobility plan earlier this year, right after the County Transportation Committee study. A lot of those projects got woven into our mobility plan. Director Carroll and other departments are actively working to improve intersections, working with TechStop, because we have several state roadways that go through the city, so it's not everything. My wife will always tell me, hey, this signal doesn't work, why don't you do something about it? And I have to tell her, it's a TechStop signal. But we still collaborate with TechStop. That does a great job at trying to make our system work as best we can. We partner with the school district. We know that all the schools provide traffic situations at certain points of the day, but we work with them to make sure we improve those as best we can. Do we have a traffic problem? That's always a guy at the holder, like perspective and stuff. I came from Dallas Fort Worth. We don't have a traffic problem compared to Dallas Fort Worth or some of the stuff you see on 1604. But nonetheless, we're hearing what our residents are saying, what they're wanting. We're trying to make improvements that will improve that quality of life and protect that unique community charm.
And the River Road Park update, right? Many of you have seen all the updates of the River Road, our lovely Dock Place. You know, Dodging Dock is now pretty much Dodging Orange Cones. We can change the name of this thing, right? Really excited about this project because it's going to bring such a great community charm for the future of Boerne. What a great place. It's already a nice place just to take your kids and spend a Saturday afternoon. But with the improvements, not only is it being environmentally safe and fit and smart, by securing those banks for the future generations of our community to be able to experience the beauty and charm of River Road, but also is just adding to the beauty of what this community is. And this was a priority. This is something that the community asked for, and I'm excited to get that in working and moving forward.
You know, our downtown, that Hill Country Mile, is such an important asset to the city, and so this is a key piece of that. There's a lot of other things on the horizon that we're envisioning to improve the environment for downtown. Possibly in a second, an additional park over by Main Plaza. We'll talk about that in a second.
And here we go, additional improvements, right, for our infrastructure, for the Boerne. These are the other things that are in the works, in the pipeline for our community. And I think my right, the one important thing is that if you see that big circle where it says it's 100% cash funded, I think that's just amazing that we've been able to do that as a community. And you can see roadway maintenance, waterworks, San Antonio's Webby Street, Main Street, River Road, right? Fire Station 2, again, fire and security, safety and security are one of the most important things for our community, that we can provide high-level services. And that addition of a second fire station is front and center for the future of Boerne to make sure that we provide high-level services.
I want to highlight the Waterworks Terrace Park there. It just only has $150,000 there. We're going to start building that up as a seed mine. That's another park that's going to go on the other end of downtown, the Hill Country Mile, over there by the Kindles, the old city swimming pool. We have a terrific conceptual rendering of what a park might look like that makes some more interactive options for that part of town. And which, by the way, if anyone wants to collaborate with the city on helping bring that to fruition, come see me after this. But no kidding, but there's about $2 million, 1.5 million out of 2 million, depending on the amenities on that. And we're going to start aiming to make that improvement downtown. Again, this is all cash funding that we have. We know we're going to need to issue debt for certain bond projects, but we're also going to the challenge to staff is to be as efficient with our resources each year so that if there's any leftover money, we can cash fund additional projects to continue to invest in our utility systems, our roadway systems, our quality of life amenities that residents are seeking.
And then finally, wrapping up, working for a better Boerne. I don't know if that's a possibility. I think it is. I think Boerne's pretty great as it is. That's why I'm here this morning because I made this community my home for 25 years. I have a business in Boerne. I'm going to continue to be a part of this community, and so I just thank you all for being here and being part of this wonderful community. And so, Ben, you want to add anything before I say that?
My family and I love it too. We don't see ourselves anywhere but here. Kids love the school district. You guys do a fabulous job. We love the church community. We love the Parks and Rec Association we're a part of. I was really excited to come to this lunch, not to give this presentation, but just to shake hands and see old friends and folks that I work with. This is a very special community. As the mayor said, we always hear about it when we go to other conferences. People are excited when they see me. They share some of their vacation trips, stories, and everything down there, who they know from here. So, just feel very blessed and appreciative to be able to be part of this community alongside you. And we want to thank you very much for coming. We're going to be here for questions. We won't take questions now, but after this lunch, come up, find. I've got 2 tables here with city staff, many of my directors are here from all departments. So if you have an issue or a question, come up and find us.
So we're going to close with 3 things. 1, if you see something in the community that you love and you're proud of, let us know. We don't get a lot of that, right? And secondly, right, if you see something you don't like and you want to help make changes, come and be part of the solution, not part of the problem.